Division. Oops, oh well. That's okay. We can go ahead. Pennsylvania Reserve Volunteer Corps. First Division. Oops, oh well. That's okay. We can go ahead. Pennsylvania Reserve Volunteer Corps. We're on the bridge where General Burnside and his men fought against General Stonewall Jackson and his men, and this is the Antietam Creek right here where they fought against each other as well. Which direction did the Union come from? I think the way we're going.
Yeah, the Union came from the direction we just were. They were heading down this way, and up there was where the Confederates were, and they ended up fighting against them, and they were able to drive them away from the bridge, and it ended up being a victory for the Union, because that ended up pushing them out of, one of the things that pushed them out of Maryland was them fighting against the Confederates here. USA 9th Army Corps, Brigadier General Jacob D. Cox commanding, September 15th through 16th, 1862. The 9th Army Corps moved from Fox's Gap in South Mountain by the Sharpsburg Road on the morning of September 15th and the evening encamped in rear of the extreme left of the Army of the Potomac, under the crest of the ridge, the middle of Antietam Bridge. On the morning of the 16th, the Corps moved to the left and took position upon the rear slopes of the ridges and east bank of... On the morning of the 16th, the Corps moved to the left and took position upon the rear slopes of the ridges on the east bank of the Antietam, the center nearly opposite of Burnside Bridge. Benjamin's Battery, East 2nd U.S. Artillery, occupied the knoll commanding the bridge. The remaining batteries of the Corps were in reserve under the cover of the bridge. During the 16th, Benjamin's Battery engaged the Confederate batteries positioned on Cemetery Hill. In the afternoon, the battery moved a short division, Crook's Bridge on its right, near supported by Sturgeon's division, and Rodman's division and its left rear with Scammond's brigade in support. Wilcox's division formed a third line and reserve. And now I'm reading this one. USA 9th Army Corps, Brigadier General Jacob D. Cox commanding, September 17th, 1862. On the morning of the 17th, Durrell's Battery D, Pennsylvania Light Artillery, took position on the ridge to the right. That's where you're looking at now. anyway, on the right of Benjamin's, and both engaged the Confederate batteries posted on the high ground near Sharpsburg. At 10 o'clock, Crook's brigade, preceded by the 11th Connecticut, as skirmishers attempted to cross the bridge but failed. Several attempts made by the 2D Maryland and 16th New Hampshire failed also. At 1 o'clock, the bridge was carried by Ferraro's brigade of Sturgis's division, and the whole division crossed and formed on the high ground west in one curved line, the left resting on the Antietam at the bend below the bridge, the right on the Sharpsburg Road 250 yards north of the bridge. Crook's brigade crossed and supported the right. Rodman's division and Ewing's brigade crossed at Snavely's Ford, below the bridge, and took position to the left of the line on the crest above the bridge. Wilcox's division crossed the bridge and relieved Sturgis, who was held in reserve at the head of the bridge. In this order, Wilcox on the right, supported by Crook, and Rodman on the left, supported by Scammon. The line moved forward at 3 o'clock in the direction of Sharpsburg, encountered and drove back D.R. Jones's division, and reached the high ground in the outskirts of the town, where it was assailed on the left flank by A.P. Hill's division and obliged to fall back to the banks of Antietam.
Just to make a correction, the Union was actually coming from this direction and going that way towards the bridge. So, just wanted to say that. Yeah, if I remember right, there was actually fighting here in the creek right around here near the bridge. Can you imagine going through a creek like this and fighting against other people on the other side of it? It was really rough. Yeah, I can't actually, of course, go into it, but that's the other side of where they attacked. Actually, they may have attacked right here as well. Yeah, this is the cornfield where a bunch of Union went through the cornfield, and then opposite the cornfield, sorry, went a little out of focus there, out past the cornfield was a bunch of Confederates who shot at the Union Guard, as you see it there. As you can see, it's not that really great ground for battle, really, and the corn stalks were so high that they couldn't even see what was beyond them, and then they came across the Confederates, who started immediately upon seeing them, started shooting them. Yeah, so, yeah. That's this part of the battle during that day. I think, if I remember right, it was around 9 in the morning till like 1 p.m. out around here. And you see, oh, oops. Sorry. Got out of focus. There we go. And, yeah. Oh, sorry. Anyway, that's part of the battlefield where the Union soldiers were mowed down by the Confederates after going through the cornfield. At daybreak, General Joseph Hooker's First Corps, approximately 8,000 men, advanced south through the cornfield where the hostile battle lines opened a tremendous
I meant
fire
to say this, but what we were
upon
just
each other.
looking at
Initially,
ago was the cornfield where the Union
back,
were, and the
Hooker's men
Confederates
regrouped and
were all
began to
over
push
on this
Stonewall
ground
Jackson's
that
men
you see here.
back as the
was
casualties on both sides
and there was
quickly
just nothing but
escalated.
corn stalks
At
all
7
around the
a.m.,
Union men around
General
here.
John Bell Hood's
Okay,
Confederate division of approximately 2,000 men was waiting behind the Dunker Church.
Oh,
And that's the church over there, right?
Oh.
Oh, Dunker Church you can't see is way back there. Sorry. Anyway, and Jackson called them into battle, and in less than 5 minutes we were advancing towards the enemy. In less than 15, we were sending and receiving death missiles by the bushel. Hood's men drove north, forcing the First Corps back across the cornfield. General Lee ordered troops from General D.H. Hill's command at the Sunken Road to move north into the cornfield. Some of these regiments attacked all the way to the northern edge of the cornfield. To the northern edge of the cornfield, where they were crushed by the arrival of the Union 12th Corps. At 8 a.m., General Joseph Manfield's 12th Corps, over 7,000 soldiers, arrived and drove back Hood's men and the Confederate reinforcements from the Sunken Road. General Mansfield was mortally wounded, and General Aphius Williams took command of the corps. At about 9 o'clock a.m., there is a short lull in the action. Most of the Confederates on the north end of the battlefield retreated to the west woods. Almost 8,000 Union and Confederate soldiers had been killed or wounded in and around the cornfield. Just west of the cornfield are 2 cannons representing Battery B, 4th United States Artillery. Battery B moved toward with the initial Union attack into the cornfield, where they came under intense fire from Stonewall Jackson's men. The battery's bugler was 15-year-old Johnny Cook. As other cannoneers were shot down around him, young Cook helped load and fire the cannon and in the face of an enemy assault just a few yards away. For his bravery at the cornfield, the former paper boy from Cincinnati, Ohio, was awarded the Medal of Honor. Well, that's really nice, and which is the nation's highest military honor. And then I'll go ahead and show you this picture of this flag. The flag was presented to the 1st Texas Infantry by Confederate President Jefferson Davis in Richmond.
The star on the flag was made from the regimental commander's wife's wedding dress. In the cornfield, the 1st Texas, as part of Hood's division, had the highest percentage of killed, wounded for any Confederate regiment in the Civil War, over 82%. In addition to losing so many men, the regiment also lost their flag in the destruction in the cornfield. A Union soldier who found the flag in the cornfield said that 13 men lay dead within a touch of it, and the body of one of the dead lay stretched across it. And yeah, just going and surveying all this. It was September 18th, right?
17th.
No, this happened on September 17th, 1862. I should have said that at the beginning, oh well.
This is the West Woods.
It's okay. Yeah, that's the Dunkard Church.
Confederates were. See, we're right here. The Union was up here. Confederate line started here.
I just realized that building over there on the right is the visitor center, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can kind of see the cannon over there. Monuments. At about 9:30 a.m., the battle started to shift from the north end of the battlefield towards the sunken road, 180 yards to your right, south. Two divisions from the Union 2nd Corps moved across the Mama and Roulette farm fields in front of you. Initially, over 5,000 soldiers commanded by William H. French assaulted the Confederate position. French, who was ordered to press the enemy with all of his force, locked into a bloody and costly struggle against Confederates positioned in the well-worn sunken farm road. Approximately an hour later, General Israel Richardson's division of over 4,000 men moved in to support their comrades. General Nathan Kimball, whose men advanced across the ground in front of you, remembered that directly on my front, in a narrow road running parallel with my line, forming a natural rifle pit between my line and a large cornfield, I found the enemy in great force. As my line advanced upon the crest, a murderous fire was opened up upon it from the entire force in front. My advance was checked, and for 3 hours and 30 minutes the battle raged incessantly, without either party giving way. On the morning of September 15th, 1862, the Army of the Potomac pursued the retreating Confederates from South Mountain, Pleasanton's cavalry, the 2nd, 1st, and 12th Corps by Turner's Pass, Boonesboro and Keedysville, and Sykes' division of the 5th Corps, the Reserve Artillery and 9th Corps,
by Fox's Pass and the old Sharpsburg Road. The 6th Corps and Couch's division attached to the 6th Corps remained near the Crampton's Pass. Pleasanton overtook the Confederate cavalry rear guard at Boonesboro, attacked and cut it off from the main body, and proceeded in the direction of Hagerstown. Richardson's division, 2nd Corps, in the advance, followed closely and skirmished with the retreating infantry until it reached the ridge bordering the Antietam, behind which it formed line north of the Boonesboro Pike. Tidball's battery, 2D U.S., and Petit's battery, at 1st New York, from the crest of the ridge, engaged the Confederate artillery posted at south of this point. French's and Sedgwick's divisions, 2nd Corps, halted on either side of the pike, midway between Keedysville and Antietam. The 1st Corps took position east of the upper bridge. A 12th Corps halted near Keedysville. Sykes's division formed south of the Boonesboro Pike on Richardson-Lett's left. Late in the day, the 9th Corps encamped on Greetings Farm at the west base of Elk Ridge. Army headquarters were established at the Pry House. Oh, crap. The Irish commander was born in Watford City, Ireland on August 23rd, 1823. A well-educated orator, he joined the Young Ireland movement to liberate his nation. This led to his exile to a British penal colony in Tasmania, Australia in 1849. He escaped to the United States in 1852 and became an American citizen when the Civil War broke out. He raised Company K Irish Zouaves for the 69th New York State Militia Regiment, which fought at First Bull Run under Colonel Michael Curran. Subsequently, Meagher raised the Irish Brigade and commanded it from February 3, 1862 to May 14, 1863. He later commanded a military district in Tennessee. After the war, Meagher became secretary and acting governor of the Montana Territory. He drowned in the Missouri River near Fort Benton on July 1st, 1867. His body was never recovered.
No, it says right here. Oh, commanded it from 3rd of February to the 14th of May.
Yeah, you see the whole battlefield from here. And look at that beautiful forest over there. That looks nice, doesn't it? Wish y'all could all be here with us.